Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Hope you're well. I also hope that it's looking good wherever you are, at least as good as it is here. Because right now the sun is shining, no clouds in the sky, a couple degrees above average. It's nice, real nice. And since it is such a nice day outside today, I know you can't tell it here, but it is, I figure let's go ahead and do the top 10 designers for summer 2024. So these are the 10 designer fragrances that I'm looking forward to wearing the most this year. All of them are gonna be linked in the description. Feel free to check them out down there. And let's just jump right into it with a quick honorable mention. So this is not in the official top 10, I guess it's number 11. Summer Vibes from Dolce & Gabbana, light blue summer vibes. Now, if we were giving awards out for how pretty the bottle looks, this one might win. Let me see. Yeah, it'd win. Because it looks great. I think it looks super nice. Nice big bottle as well, 125 milliliters. Doesn't cost that much from discounters. And I will say that I feel like light blue, at least right now to me, almost feels like it's at a crossroads. So I'll explain why really quickly and then we'll get into the top 10. But the original light blue for men, that one still sells really well, very popular. And you had light blue O Intense that came out a while after that one that kind of kicked off the popularity of light blue again because there were a bunch of flankers before that one, some of which were really good, but none of them were like super popular. And I feel like after O Intense, you know, light blue has been trying to find its way a little bit, right? You had light blue Italian Zest, light blue Sun, and I kind of lumped those together. Then you had light blue Forever, light blue Italian Love, kind of lumped those together. Also had Love is Love and Summer Vibes. But it's like they're trying to figure out exactly where they want to take the line and they're maybe not 100% sure because with Summer Vibes, they brought it back to being more similar to the original and O Intense. And as of when I'm filming this video, they haven't announced a new light blue for men this year yet. Now they still have time, right? But I do feel like for a summer-centric limited edition fragrance that you probably want to go ahead and get that out, you know, before you head into June or July. So they could technically announce it tomorrow. For all I know, before this video goes out, they may have announced a new light blue, but as of right now, they haven't. And it makes me think like, what's going on with light blue right now? But like I said before, light blue summer vibes, this one is similar to the original light blue and also O Intense. It brings it back into that style. Very fresh, easy wearing, kind of that sea salty vibe going on with it. Light blue summer vibes, this is one that I'll wear because I typically do work a light blue fragrance into my rotation, you know, through summertime. Won't blow you away in terms of originality because it is similar to some of those light blues that have come before, but it still is an easy wearing summertime scent. All right, number 10, let's go. It is this one, Calvin Klein Eternity Summer Days. Now I know that this might be a choice that a lot of you look at and you go, Summer Days? What is that garbage? And I will explain why this one makes the list. First off, it's cheap. And when I say cheap, I mean cheap. It's under $30 from discounters all day, at least as of when I'm shooting this video. You know, 5-10 years from now, who knows? So this one has in the official note breakdowns mint and mandarin orange, but it actually has more of a fresh watermelon kind of vibe to it, a good amount of sweetness too. A little bit green, very easy to wear once again. The reason this one makes the list is because it is crazy inexpensive, very easy to wear when it's hot outside, and it has a pleasant change of pace compared to the other fragrances in my top 10. It's one that I initially had written off when it first came out before I smelled it. I was like, oh, it's another Eternity flanker, who cares? But then when I got my hands on it, I was like, oh, that's actually pretty nice. So Summer Days, number 10. Before we move up to the next fragrance, here are some codes you can use across a multitude of different fragrance websites to save yourself some money. So fragflex.com, GS11 is good for the first order that you place on that website. Afterwards, GS10 would have to be used. That's $10 off any order over 99 bucks. Max Aroma has a ton of good fragrances. Triple Traders, a lot of clone fragrances. Of course, Twisted Lily for the niche. And then you have the perfume box as well. So check all those codes out. Let's move on. Number 9, Terre d'Hermes Eau Givre from Hermes. Now, this is one that I like a lot, spring and summer. It's not one that I really just, you know, pigeonhole into one time of year, which honestly, you shouldn't do that in general. Like if you really enjoy a fragrance that's a summertime fragrance, wear that in wintertime. Try it out in fall, see how it works for you. But anyway, back to Eau Givre. Love the opening, really realistic citrus in there. Citron is the top note. It has a bit of a tartness to it, you know, a little bit of rindiness to it, but still smells amazing. And like most Terre d'Hermes fragrances, it's also got a nice bit of classiness to it as well. So that woodiness comes out as the fragrance dries down. And this is, for me, my go-to spring, summertime Terre d'Hermes. Eau Très Fraîche, also really good. That's one of the earlier releases in the line, in case you're unfamiliar with it. But I think that for most people nowadays, this one's gonna work a bit better. Up next, another cheapie, Vida Loca from Mandarina Duck. This one I paid very little for from Fragrance Buy, but it has been one of those fragrances that comes into stock, sells out, and then it's out of stock for a while, and you know the whole cycle continues. In stock, sells out, in stock, sells out. That's what's been happening with this one. Now, like I said when I introduced it, it is cheap as long as it's in stock. This one has a really nice tropical freshness to it. It's actually been compared a little bit to the smell of Le Beau from Jean Paul Gaultier. And that makes sense when you look at the note breakdown, because this has pineapple, it has coconut, it's got tonka, there's also mint in there off the top. You have a little mandarin orange, you've got sage, geranium, vetiver, a really nice note breakdown, super pleasant. And it may remind you a little bit indeed of Le Beau or Le Beau Le Parfum, but this one comes across not quite as deep, you know, not quite as heavy with the sweetness and the base of the fragrance, and a little bit fresher overall. So this one leans a little bit more heavily on those initial fizzy, fresh, sweet, fruity notes, for example. Again, you want to get this one from a discounter for a good price. This is not the type of fragrance that you want to splurge and pay $80, $90 for, because I have seen people on eBay listing this one for those prices. You do not want to pay that much. If you pay that much for this, you're gonna feel maybe like you got duped a little bit. Not that the fragrance isn't nice, it is really, really nice. Super pleasant, very easy to wear, attention grabbing, all that stuff, which you would expect, because again, compared to Le Beau, right? But when you start breaking down, well, what could I have gotten for, you know, $80, $90? There's a lot of stuff out there, and Mandarina Duck is not gonna be a house at the top of that list of what you want to pay that much for, right? $25, $30, $35, even $40 for this though. And it is a killer summertime scent. After that one, a classic of sorts, Versace Pome. Now I had thought about Missoni Wave, because I really like Missoni Wave, and Missoni Wave does smell similar to Versace Pome, but you know, at the end of the day, I think I just want to bust this one out again. So this is one that I have worn a lot over the years, you know, off and on. And it's just, one of those ones that you can fall back into really easily. It's inexpensive from discounters. It's got a really pleasant citrusy opening, lemon, bergamot, neroli. You have a little floral touch to it along the edges, some woodiness in there, a little bit of sweetness as it dries down as well. It's one of those fragrances that in the summer, you can wear it anywhere. You can wear this to the office, you can wear this casually, you could wear this on a date. I mean, honestly, you can wear Versace Pome anywhere, anytime, any place. And it just smells so appealing that nobody will question it. And because it doesn't go too heavy with that sweetness, keeps things more fresh and lively and clean. Because of that, you can wear this easily in more formal situations. And even if it's hot outside, it's gonna work. I mean, honestly, if it's hot outside, that's probably the best place for this to work. Before we go to the next fragrance, I am also gonna be wearing this one. This is South Slope. This is my own fragrance. So I'm not gonna put this in the official top 10 because, you know, I'm a little biased. But you can find this at every fragrance outlet, every Perfumania store in the country, in the US. So if you're nearby, stop in, check it out. You know, just spray it on a tester strip, wear it around, whatever. You can also find it on Michael Mollo's website, of course, which is linked in the description. And if you use my code GENTSCENTS, that will save you money across the entire website, not just my stuff. I think it smells amazing. I am biased, but it was made for compliments. It was made to be worn, made for versatility. A nice, sweet, appealing blue fragrance. All right, next up, Dior Homme Sport. This is another one like Terre d'Hermes Eau Givre that really is not a summer only fragrance, but I would say that this one even more so you could consider just about a year-round scent. It is on the fresher side of things, so a lot of people are gonna say, oh, well, don't wear it during the winter, but as I already said earlier, if you like something, wear it. And this does work in fall and winter. It's a clean, fresh, woody scent. Has a nice citrusy opening in there too. Similarities to Dior Homme 2020, only this one is obviously fresher. And I would also say, don't think of this as your typical sport scent or your typical gym scent, because I would say actually a lot of people would smell that and be like, I don't even know if this is actually really a great sport fragrance. At least in the typical way people think of sport fragrances, right? A lot of people think of those as more just fresh, light, shower jelly, clean, airy, watery, right? This has, as I said, more of a woodiness to it, and it is fresh, but it's also classy and not super light. So you could wear this to the gym, but in all actuality, it's better suited as just being a versatile anytime fragrance. I think I would actually rather wear this to like more formal occasions than I would in the gym, just for me. I'm not saying that's my favorite time to wear this is formal occasions. I'm just saying, between those two. All right, top 5, Polo 67, Ralph Lauren. This thing has, I don't know, it's got something in it, okay? It's got MSG in there. It's got something where you have a little taste and you're like, oh, it's pretty good. Then you have some more and you go, oh, it's really good. I want some more. Actually, I want a little more. It's got something in there. It's got something. So this has bergamot, pineapple, and lemon off the top. It has juniper in there, sage, rose hips as one of the notes in the mid. Don't see that very often. Vetiver in the base. And then also goldenrod in the base as well. So you get this really interesting combination of some aromatic notes of citrus, very fresh, bright citrus, a little touch of sweetness from the pineapple in there as well. And then you've got that vetiver, which I go to very often in spring, summer, fall, winter, actually all the time. And the vetiver here is done in that more modern style. Very fresh, cleaned, smooth, instead of a, earthy or very dry or grassy vetiver, which can sometimes turn people off. I feel like it's possible Polo 67 cracks my top 10 of the year by the end of the year, just because this is one that, I wore a little initially when I first got it, and I enjoyed it, but maybe wasn't mind blown. But then as the temperature has heated up, and I've been wearing it more, like I said, it's addictive. It's fresh, clean, modern, a little bit sweet. It's versatile, it's a people pleaser. And I actually, I've been leaning into this more than all the Polo Blues. I mean, it's in a Polo Blue bottle, right? So you can kind of think of this as a Polo Blue flanker, but no, it's Polo 67. This is its own thing. Might be my favorite Ralph Lauren Polo in, I don't know, a long time. Number 4, another one that has just absolutely taken over as time has gone on for me. And this is Bad Boy Cobalt. This one, I swear, man, it's the opening. I think the opening for this, the more you smell it, you get more of that plum and that sweetness that comes through, and it becomes something that you want to spray on over and over and over. Along with that plum, you have lavender, pink pepper, geranium, a woody note. Oh, what was that? Oh yeah, vetiver again. But probably the most interesting note in here for just your average person, if they're looking at the note breakdown, is truffle. Yeah, truffle. Which I don't know who out there was like, I know what we need. A fresh, sweet, aromatic, modern men's fragrance anchored by truffles. Why is everybody looking at me like that? But don't worry, this doesn't come across smelling like a truffle risotto or anything like that. I'll also say that Bad Boy Cobalt Elixir is really solid as well. But Bad Boy Cobalt is the more unique fragrance of the two, because Cobalt Elixir, while again really appealing to me, has a lot of vanilla and ends up smelling similar to a number of other popular modern fragrances. This one though is one of those ones that will help set you apart. I mean, really the only other fragrance out there that I think is similar to this one is Invictus Platinum. That one's good too, but between the two, Cobalt is a bit more appealing for me. And so this year, I'm gonna put this one through its paces, wear it a little bit more than I have in the past. Top three, number 3 is a very familiar fragrance for summertime lists for me. It is Profundo. Yeah, Acqua di Gio Profundo. I know, it's like always Acqua di Gio Profundo in these summertime lists, but until it vanishes or is replaced by a fragrance that I like more in the Acqua di Gio line, it's probably gonna be here. So this is the new bottle style of Profundo, the new iteration Profundo Eau de Parfum 2024. But honestly, either of those would work. The new Profundo Parfum, as of right now, I don't like as much as the Eau de Parfum. Now I'm gonna put it through its paces this summer, wear it some more, but my first impressions of that one were, you know, not as good as with this one. I think this is more what I'm personally looking for in an Acqua di Gio. This one is sweeter, it's brighter, fresher, has a nice green aspect to it, which I'm really drawn to. And actually the green aspect in Acqua di Gio Profundo, I think is more pronounced than anything that we're gonna talk about here today, especially off the strip. I mean, off the skin as well, but off the strip, you get a good amount of that. It's an Acqua di Gio, so that means, you know, you can realistically wear it whenever you want. People dig it, people like it. That's why it's been a bestseller, the line I'm talking about, ever since it came out. And Profundo still is a bestseller in terms of men's fragrances in general. Not like a top 10, but it's still being worn, it's still being purchased a lot. And I really enjoy it as well. So I'm gonna go for it again. And I do dig the new bottle look. I like that little gradient, looks cool. Number 2 is Legend Blue. This is very much like Polo 67 over here in the sense that I just keep wearing it. It's not anything crazy new, not anything artistic, simple, easy to wear, sweet, fresh. Lavender, mint, sandalwood, and ambroxan, some of the notes in the fragrance. So while I said it's pretty simple, it does have some interesting aspects to it. So you have on the one side, just that fresh out of the shower, you know, slightly sweet kind of aspect. Then on the other side, it's also a little bit classy. So it's got like this masculine, gentlemanly edge. This one has just been growing on me and growing on me and growing on me. I have taken to like posting this up on the corner of my desk. And if I'm not wearing something yet, I'm gonna go out somewhere, I just grab it, spray and go. And it's been working really well doing that. I paid retail for it, but it's at discounters already. And I think that when this hits discounters across the board, like all the discounters, and it's been in stock for a little while, then the price is gonna drop a little further than it already has. And when this thing is going for, you know, Legend Eau de Parfum prices, $30, something like that, that is just gonna be such a sick deal for summertime for a lot of people. So Legend Blue, I really, really, really enjoy this. And I'll tell you, when I was going into this one, I was thinking that stuff is gonna suck. I was hoping it wouldn't, don't get me wrong, but you know, something in the back of my mind was like, oh, Legend Blue, I don't know, man. Because Explorer Ultra Blue from Mont Blanc, you know, I'm not massive on that one. I think for the price point, it works for a lot of people, and that's awesome, but it's not something I enjoy wearing. And then Legend Red, I wasn't really enamored with. And so, you know, Legend Blue, I was like, ah. And yet, I dig it. All right, number one summer fragrance for this year. I gotta say, I have already started wearing this a good amount. I wore it yesterday and the day before, and it's Myself. Yep, YSL Myself. And as of filming, there's been stuff going around about a new Myself Le Parfum, but as of when I'm filming, no more info on that one yet. Who knows, like maybe this video comes out after more info on that has been released. Maybe it comes out before, I'm not sure. You never know with this stuff, but photos have started to pop up. So apparently a new one coming real soon. This came out last year and took off just like a firestorm. Just shot up the list of bestsellers, became one of the most popular men's fragrances, period. It was actually pretty crazy to see because a lot of times when new fragrances come out, even if they're popular, They're not gonna shoot up into the top 10, like right near the top 5 best sellers. That's what this did. Fragrances that have had decades to settle as best sellers at the top of the men's list were just shoved down by that. And all of this is with that coming out, I think, in August. So it shot up into the tippy top of the best sellers for men's fragrances with 5 months of sales against other fragrances that had a full year. This is one that first impressions, it was really easy to wear, really pleasant, very appealing. Didn't really hit the market at the best time, at least for us in the US, because it was kind of coming out heading into fall. This is more for me a spring, summertime type of scent. And so I wore it a few times, did first impressions, and then I was kind of like, okay, I'll get around to that when the weather starts to change back. And I've gotten back to it, and it works really well. Even better than I remember with my first impressions, which those were really positive from other people. Like, this thing, it's got something magnetic about it. The scent itself is not anything crazy complex. Bergamot, orange blossom, I think ambrofix, so amber woodiness, essentially. It's smooth, clean, has almost kind of a sweet, you know, fresh laundry kind of aspect to it. And I know some people, when they hear that, like clean clothes, fresh laundry, that's not a scent, but for a lot of people, you know, that would be like a soft, floral, kind of sweet, clean aspect, you know, reminiscent of certain scented soaps that you can use for laundry. But it's done in a way that's very rich, elegant, classy, just very appealing, like I said. And a lot of times you don't want something that's just, you know, crazy complex that changes from this to this to this. You just want something that's gonna work, that's gonna last, that's gonna smell good, that other people are gonna like, that's gonna boost your confidence. This does all of that. And it's one that I enjoy smelling when I'm wearing it, and it's one that I have enjoyed very much here as the weather started to heat up and I've started to spray this on. So I'm gonna put it right there. And I never did a review on that one, I noticed, so I'll probably do a full review on that at some point too. And I do wanna say one last thing here. I'm not saying that this is what's happening. We won't know for sure until years down the road, but I do wonder to an extent if myself is going to be changing a little bit men's fragrances in general. So what I mean by that is every so often, there's like a movement in men's fragrances where you'll get a big wave of different things that come in, and those become the norm, like the most popular things. So of course, over the past number of years, that's been stuff like Bleu de Chanel, Y, Dior Sauvage, blue fragrances for the most part, along with your classic fragrances that just keep on selling, like Paco Rabanne's 1 Million and stuff like that. I wonder if this is changing things, because we have, you know, Polo 67, which has a little bit of a similarity to this one. And then you have Azzaro's The Most Wanted Eau de Toilette Intense, little bit of a similarity to this one. And if that's what is happening, fragrances going back to more of like a fresh, clean aesthetic, it wouldn't be the first time. You look back at fragrances like CK1 or the original Acqua di Gio, L'Eau d'Issy. Those fragrances ushered in a new style of men's fragrance that became a very popular facet, if not the most popular, for a long while. So again, I'm not saying that's what's happening. We wouldn't even know until years down the road probably, but I wonder if myself isn't going to be ushering in more fragrances that are sort of in this style. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great summer. Stay safe out there. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.